Hi there, Paul here from Life Connect. Awesome that you're joining us this morning. Really happy to share this message with you. Now, we're starting a new series, and it is simply going to be called Simple. So thanks for joining us for Simple. Here it goes. You ready? Let's get into it. Okay. I want to start off with like a profound statement. Life is killing us. It is, life is literally sucking the life out of us. Now, I don't know if it's just me. I certainly hope not. Who feels run down, let down, exhausted, like up against it, on the brink, emotionally drained, physically strained. Is it just me, or is there some of you out there as well? I don't know. It's like the world's a tough place right now. And I think we make it tough. But if you had to go to a psychologist for argument, what's wrong with you? And I believe we've got to turn that on its head, and we've got to say, what's wrong with the world? Why are all of us feeling like this? What has gone wrong that we're all feeling like more pressure on us? We feel more drained, we feel weaker. What is going on out there? And I want to tell you what I think it is. I think life has become like busy. There's so many things on the go, so many things that consume us and take our time. Like our lives are cluttered. We've all got our normal adult responsibilities, but then we got like timelines and expectations and distractions, and we're so busy doing all of these things, but we don't get to the things that nourish us, that feed our soul, that make us almost normal again. We don't get to those things. And the longer we neglect getting to them, the bigger the impact it takes on our body and our minds. And we get to a place where we feel like we do. And I don't know to what degree you feel it or you don't, but I'm talking to people, a whole lot of us feel it really bad. And I think 2021, this is the year to declutter, to clean out, to simply become simple again. It's time to get back to the basics. If we can even remember what the basics are, because we've been going at this pace for so long, I think we might have forgotten. But hopefully during the series, we will discover some of the basics again, some of the things we need to start looking at. And I think we need to start a revolution. We need to buck the system, and we need to say no more. I'm not going to be driven by the world. I'm making a stand. I'm drawing a line in the sand. I'm taking ownership because I want to feel normal again. Most of us, we want to make this huge change. We want to change the world, change the political landscape, change others. But change has to start with you. It's got to be you first. And changing you is a big deal, okay? And it's a big job. But when you change, then we can go a little bit bigger, and we can change our family. Then we can get larger still, and we can change our friends. Then we can get huge and change the workplace. Then we can get humongous, and we can change the town. And I'm running out of words to describe big, but you get the picture. Everything is dependent on the amount of change you as an individual make. Only once you change can you influence those around you. It's literally like the pebble we drop in the pond and the ripples go out. You see, those ripples get bigger, and the more you change, the bigger effect that your change can have on others. But it's got to start with you. And we've got to get to a place where we realize our lives are cluttered, and the clutter is robbing us of peace. It's stealing our joy. It's affecting our relationships. It's influencing our future. I mean, this is reality, people. It is reality. And the Bible speaks into this. The Bible speaks into everything, but it speaks into this busyness, and this, whatever we're feeling, it speaks into that. In Ecclesiastes 4 verse 6, it says, better one handful with tranquility than 2 handfuls with toil and chasing the wind. Let me read that to you again. In Ecclesiastes 4:6, better 1 handful of tranquility than 2 handfuls with toil and chasing after the wind. And now, I want tranquility. I want some peace in my life. But then I've got to identify what is the toil, what is the wind I'm chasing after, what is the stuff of little value, how much of what I do and how much of what I'm involved in is simply taking my attention and robbing me of my energy. It's simply chasing wind. It means nothing. You see, you got to determine that, and for each of us it will be a little bit different. But what I'm seeing this impacting families, and I'm seeing it impacting individuals and impacting workplaces and impacting our country. I'm seeing parents who ignore their children and people who are writing families off. I'm seeing people losing themselves in possessions or getting swamped by cluttered schedules. I see people skipping church and ignoring physical warning signs. And I think the time to simplify has never been greater than right now. Our lives are simply too busy. We had some friends over recently, and my granddaughter Skylar, we call her Sky, she's always around. She loves people. And so she's speaking to our guest Gil and says to him, she's got an iPad. She got blessed with Nana's old iPad, but it was given to her for homework. So he asks her, what do you do with your iPad? And she looks up at him and thinks like, how can an adult be so stupid? You should have seen this look on her face. And then she goes off. It's for games, it's for YouTube, it's for Showmax, it's for Netflix. She forgot about the homework part. But she's rattling off this whole list. And it just made me think how busy our lives have become and how caught up we have become with devices. We're selling our soul to laptops and to iPads and to TVs and to whatever. We are ruled by these devices. It's Facebook, it's Instagram, it's Twitter. It is this series and that series and reality shows. And the reality is it's stealing our soul. It's robbing us of life. We're too busy with that stuff. It clutters us. Can I ask you a question that comes straight out of Scripture? Is that okay? And it's from Luke 9:25. And the question is asked like this: what good is it for someone to gain the whole world and yet lose or forfeit their very self? And I want to give you time to think about that. What good is it for someone to gain the whole world and yet lose or forfeit their very self? Because that's what's happening. This world is making us hoarders, and we hoard all sorts of things and relationships, and we're hoarding habits, good or bad, and activities, good or bad, and but they become time stealers and time wasters, and we've got no time for the important things. And sometimes we make a resolution, I'm stopping that, and or I'm going to remove that from my life. But just, we need to do away with them, because if we simply decide I'm going to stop or I'm going to remove, we replace them with other things, and those things eventually consume us anyway. To simplify means we've got to make big changes, and they've got to be permanent changes. We've got to start focusing on the right things. We've got to know what comes first, what comes second, what comes third, and then we've got to prioritize everything around that. And I want to give you 3 things that are really important. And if you, in this year, can get those 3 things right, you're going to have a completely different life. They are first God, second family, and third health. When I talk health, I'm talking physical and spiritual. Those things must be your yardstick. They must be what you measure everything that is consuming you, everything that is cluttering your life against. Those three things. How's it influencing my relationship with God? How's it impacting my family? How's it affecting my physical and my spiritual health? I don't know if you recall, and some of our new listeners, our new online partners won't know this, but we started with a theme of philosophy, whatever you want to call it, a couple of years back, and it was this, #167, #167. And this is what it was about. You got 604,800 seconds in every week. That is 10,080 minutes. That is 168 hours, okay? We make the assumption you're in church for 1 hour a week. That leaves you 167 hours. And we were wondering, how does your 167 look? What is taking up your 167? Yes, there's sleep. Yes, there is work. What is your time filled with though? I mean, 1 hour for church. Can I ask you, can I encourage you? Can you maybe stretch that a little bit and make an extra 2 hours to join a connect group, a life group, a small group? I don't know what you call it. Can you give it maybe another hour? So we take in 4 hours out of your week that you dedicate to God, and you use the last hour, you divide it up between the days of the week, and you spend some time with God. You see, I'm punting this aspect of God, this 167 theme, because I believe when we focus on God, it automatically leads to a greater focus on family, and then a reflection on self, and you begin to analyze what is good and what is bad for you. But it starts off with you decluttering life, so you've got time for God in your life, and then it flows from there. It's all about you managing your time and not having the world tell you what your time looks like. It's you clearing your schedule, making time to switch off the TV, get away from the phone screen, and spending time with God. And everything flows from there. In Ecclesiastes chapter 3, man, you often hear this at funerals. I don't know why, but I love this at funerals. It says there's a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. And then it gives you this whole list. And it says there's a time to be born and a time to die. There's a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to build up and to tear down, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to scatter and a time to gather. And it gives you this whole list. And in verse 6, it says this, there's a time to search and a time to give up. And here comes the kicker. And there's a time to keep and there's a time to throw away. 2021 is the time of throwing away. No keeping stuff that's robbing you from God, your family, and affecting your physical and your spiritual health. It's time to throw away, to get rid of, to obliterate, to wipe out. Okay? That time is now. And I believe you're going to be better off for it. You see, you could decide on the opposite end of the scale, and you can go to every party, you can do every type of sport, you can ride every mountain pass, you can hike every trail, man, you can watch every series on TV, and you can never miss a MotoGP or a game of rugby. You can spend your time sleeping or just lazing about. You can crawl every mall and read every book. But in the end, what have you gained? Because for whatever you believe you've gained, you've given something else away. And it's usually God, family, physical and spiritual health. Those things come at a price. It's time we just start to we do reprioritize our life. That Ecclesiastes, you must go and read Ecclesiastes, the whole chapter 3, it's amazing. In verse 17 it says, and I said to myself, Solomon speaking, after going through all these lists, he started thinking about this, and he comes to this conclusion, and it says this, God will bring into judgment both the righteous and the wicked. For there will be a time for every activity, a time to judge every deed. That needs thought. That needs the pause button to be hit, and introspection to be done. God will bring into judgment both the righteous and the wicked. For there will be time for every activity, a time to judge every deed. What are we going to do about that? What are we going to do about that? I'll tell you what we can do. We can start afresh. We can wipe the slate. Say, I'm changing my life. I'm going to simplify. I'm going to declutter. I'm going to focus more on God. Because when I focus on God, I redirect attention to my family, my loved ones. And then I focus more on myself, my physical, but also my spiritual self. It's time to start a revolution, people. Time to bring change. And Jesus showed us how to change. He came in and He tossed everything on its head. He didn't come and conform. He came and He stood out. I'm busy reading a book called Simple Church by Tom Rainer and Eric Geiger. And it says in there, if anyone knows simple, it's Jesus. If anyone is a revolutionary, it's Jesus. He was the original revolutionary. He came into this world polluted, into this polluted religious scene with Sadducees, Pharisees, Herodians, Zealots, Essenes, and Romans. And they were all demanding His time and His attention. But He was not going to play by their rules. He could not stand their hypocrisy. He preferred spending time with tax collectors and sinners. You see how He takes that bundle, He just wipes us at the cup. Man, that's just a time waster. That's going to consume me. I've got a mission. I've got a purpose on earth. I'm going to focus on that. And we need that same kind of focus. We need to get this Jesus perspective and focus on the things that really matter. So Jesus shows us how to declutter. But He asks you this question: what is cluttering your life? What is it in your life that needs to get better, that needs to be simplified? You know what one of the areas, and this you won't hear many pastors say, but I think church needs to simplify so we can better help you simplify, that we can cater better to your needs and helping you live a more godly life, a God-streamed life. Church shouldn't be part of the problem, it's part of the solution. And we don't want to take up your time. We don't want to waste your time. We want to give you value. So what we're doing at Life Connect, we're simply going to focus on 3 things in the coming year. And if we can get these three things right, and we can get you to get these 3 things right, you'll have a simpler life. And the one is, we're going to focus on our vision. Know Jesus and make Jesus known. Because if you know Him, that's step number 1. And then you immediately make Him known, and that gives you fulfillment. We're going to focus on our slogan, life is better connected, especially when you're connected properly and connected to the right things. So we want to get you connected to the right people and to the right things. And then we're going to focus on, like I've said, #167, so we can all ensure we're spending our time wisely. You see, this is going to help us live a simple life. And a simple life isn't a boring life. You might think, oh, we the anti-fun police, we're stealing all the joy. No, we're going to give you joy. We're going to help you experience joy, experience fulfillment, find worth again, find peace again. Be less tired, more motivated, not be lazy, but be energized. You see, we want to help you become a better version of you so that you can serve God better, love God better, be better for your family, and be better for yourself. That's what we want to do. And we believe it's time to declutter. But we believe you've got a lot of work to do. You've got to go analyze, and you've got to make some choices. And I want to end this off with repeating Ecclesiastes 3 verse 17. And I want you to take this and absorb it and dwell on it. And after you dwelled on it, you've got to act on it. And it said, remember this, God will bring into judgment both the righteous and the wicked. For there will be a time for every activity, a time to judge every deed. Amen. My prayer for you is you reflect on that. That's it, folks. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being with us. I haven't ended in prayer. I will encourage you where you are right now. After I sign off, you offer up prayers to God and you ask God to help you to make these decisions that's going to change your life. Will you do that? Because it's all about you and your relationship with Him. So you've got to enter into that relationship and take what God has to offer. Be blessed. Thanks again for connecting with us. You know by now our bank details if you want to sow into this ministry. ABSA 405-1911-270. We love you. Thanks for being a blessing to us. Go well and go with God.